me actually was a presentation on professional development, personal development, technological enhancement, and innovation. So I want to share with you new frontiers in mining and mining development. But before I do so, I'm passionate when it comes to development, personal and professional development. In fact, when the president interacted with me, I told him that I have a different perception about mining. I'm a mining engineer. And mining, in simple terms, is the extraction of a mineral of interest from a substance. And I believe human beings are a resource. To get the best out of these human beings, you have to go through education, training, and development. So my interest in the industry now is actually to develop men. And to me, it is mining. So I'm very passionate, and I was very happy when I was invited to be with you. I want to say something brief about the chairman, what he did for me during my 1 week.
He inducted me into the role of a chief mining engineer when I was only 1 week into my national service. How did he do it? He was then the chief mining engineer, and he was compiling a list of all students of UMAT for a project he was handling. So he asked me to come and continue with the compilation. So whoever enters the office calls him by his role, chief. So they will enter, a lot of people, including my manager at the time, will enter the office and say, chief, and I will lift my head and say, hey, we have new chief. And I said to myself that I wanted to be a chief mining engineer. And within the shortest possible time, I was a chief mining engineer. And I'm saying this because confidence and competence is all that is required in your personal and professional development. You have said a lot, but you need to make a deliberate attempt to invest in confidence and in competence. One of the investments is what you have done. I was very happy when I came to meet you. You attending this conference, you have already demonstrated about 180% that you are ready to take up the role and the challenges in the mining and gas and oil industry. Whatever it might be, you are ready for it. And the presence here is a clear testimony to that. So I want to congratulate you for making this bold decision and investing in this. What it also means is that whatever investment decision you make, you have to deliberately make investments in competence and confidence. And you get more confident when you interact with people, when you shake hands with people, as Mr. Nede was saying, when you meet people like this here. I'm sure when you meet me at Iduapriem, you will not feel like a student relating to a manager, but you see yourself as a colleague you attended a conference with. So it is very important that you make deliberate attempts to invest in your competence and in your confidence. So what I'm trying to say is that sometimes there will be some limits to ban you, to tell you that this is a 4-year program. But if you know where you are going and you know what you want to achieve, that 4-year program, you can do it in 2 years, in 1 year, though you may not have the degree, but what is required for you to accomplish, you will do it. That is when you purpose for yourself that this is where I want to be. So it is very important that you always determine and make a deliberate investment in competence and in confidence. So thank you very much. This is just to add to what Mr. Nede have shared with you on personal and professional development. Nobody will do it for you. Nobody will do it for you. As you sit here, there is no one going to invest in you. It is you who have to decide where you want to be tomorrow. And that decision, you have to work it out. When I went to Iduapriem, I drove around during the first 2 weeks. And I saw a lot of opportunities, which at the time was a challenge. And I said to myself that I will be a mine manager one day to turn these challenges to opportunities. If I tell you how I left UMAT and how I got to Iduapriem, it will amaze you to know where did I get that confidence. To say to myself that in 10 years' time, I'm going to be a mine manager when the life of the mine at the time was 8 years. But I said in 10 years' time, I'm going to be a mine manager. And in 10 years, I am a mine manager. So don't allow anything to limit you. Set those high aspirations. And when you set them, you get yourself a coach, you get yourself a mentor, and you invest in it. So one of the mentors I wanted to give to you was either the Chief Executive Officer of GNPC or Minerals Commission. Now, if you say to yourself that in 15 years I want to be the CEO of GNPC or the CEO of Minerals Commission, you need to know that person. You need to read about that person. You need to understand what he has gone through to be where he or she is. And you need to invest in it. So if you have to go to the internet to read about the CEO of GNPC, you shouldn't wait until when you get a free access to internet. You need to deliberately invest in it. Then according to the Natural Resource Governance Institute, Ghana's governance of the resource sector ranked 24th out of 89 countries in 2017. So when I see these things, I just want it to be a challenge to you. Can you bring this number to maybe first or second or between the first 10? You see, and as soon as you give yourself this challenge, it helps in the development of your competence and your confidence. And before you are aware, it pushes you up. So I'm just sharing these numbers with you so that it will challenge you and you see how you position yourself to improve on the mining industry in Ghana. If you drove in here, the 150 years, over 150 years of mining, we can even say it about Takwa alone. So is Takwa a place which mining has been going on for 150 years? Then what is the benefit of mining? But it is a challenge to you and I to say that we will change this industry. We will change the outlook of this industry in our country and also in the localities where these industries are. So today I'm presenting to you a challenge. And I want you to position yourself to take these challenges, turn them to opportunities, and that is where your development lies. So these are also some of the statistics which are showing, confirming the numbers I've shared with you. And this one talks to this and that talks to the challenge. Over the years, grade is declining, but we still have to mine to make profits. And new deposits are competing with the known deposits like gold, manganese, and so in this era, as young professionals, you still have to position yourself and still get hope in the industry. So what are the key drivers of this mining industry challenge? I've mentioned we have declining recovery rates, declining deposit grades, growing ore body complexity, growing need for local participation, growing need for mining automation, growing governmental, social, and environmental pressures, the quest for better safety performance, and growing competition for attracting investors. In 2017, Ernst & Young, an audit firm, did a risk profiling of the mining industry. This one is not only limited to Ghana, but globally. And these are the 10 risks, the 10 top business risks in the mining industry. Digital effectiveness, competitive shareholder returns, cyber, new world commodities, regulatory risk, cash optimization, social licenses to operate, resource replacement, access to and optimization of energy, and managing joint ventures. So what are some of the new frontiers, the new technologies in the mining industry? As indicated, most of them have been mentioned. So I will just mention them, then, but you have to pause me if you still want me to speak much on it. So this one is talking to unmanned area vehicles, which is the drones. And our chairman have said that these drones, what they are doing today, maybe tomorrow they can do better. In other words, instead of you mining and hauling on the ramp, you can get a drone which is big enough and have the capacity to lift an amount of ore from the pit directly to the crushing plant. And it's a technology. Maybe this, what he said, is actually to throw the challenge to you and develop this unmanned area vehicle to another level. Because that is the essence of why you are here. We present to you challenges, we share with you what you can do to change the face of the industry, to improve it. So that is why we are here. So maybe what the chairman said is what one of you is going to do tomorrow. So we use it for stockpile management, we use it for land use mapping, environmental monitoring, survey of tailings dams, drilling and blasting, project siting, and also geological mapping. So those of us who are staying in school, you need to take advantage of what this can do. Most of our operations are still not using, from where I'm coming from, I'm now taxing my surveyors to use it for drill and blast, for instance. So if you have that knowledge, if you have that competence, you realize that you're already marketing yourself into the industry. No matter how tight and complex employment is now, you can still make inroads when you have something to offer to the industry to make it more profitable. Another one is geographic information systems. For those of us who have a survey background here and geology background, we show keen interest in this. But majority of us, we think that is a survey thing. We think that is a geology thing. But for you to compete in this era, no matter your background, you should show keen interest in this because it can be used for mining, feasibility studies, environmental monitoring and land use planning, safety analysis, other applications in mining operations. At Iduapriem, for instance, some of the young engineers have developed an app which we use to report safety hazards. So when you see a safety hazard, you don't have to write, you don't have to call, you just have to pick your phone and just whatever you have observed, you can even take a picture, then it's reported to the central, and the person who develop it from GIS, and it's a safety tool. So don't limit yourself. Take advantage of the new technologies and develop yourself so that you can position yourself well. We have advanced exploration tools such as innovative 3D seismic imaging technology from HISIS. We have area electromagnetic survey. We have radiometric surveys, high 3D modeling software. Some of these things might not be new to you. You might have heard them before, but I'm saying that where the world is going, you need to well entrench yourselves in some of these technologies to be able to position yourself, to market yourself, and also make inroads in the industry. We have user-friendly softwares, and you need to, especially those of us in the mining environment, you need to know some of these things before you even come out of school. Know some of them very well, study them, and create a project on your own. Demonstrate to the industry that there's something data mine can do which the industry is not using it to do. Why? Because you are a student and you are able to, you have enough and ample time to study. So when you get yourself entrenched in studying some of these softwares, you will be able to do more than what the industry is even practicing now. And that is the development we are talking about. So you need to know them. You need to know that this is what the industry uses. Know them, learn them, and do beyond what the industry is having now and demonstrate to them that if you hire me with the same data mine you are using on your mine, with the same setback you are using on your mine, just hire me and I'll use this same data mine to bring your cost down by $1 per ounce. And you see how Mr. Mininig will be chasing after you. We have blast movement technology. We have virtual reality for mining. This is a realistic simulation of rare mine environment. Virtual environment can be used for training and induction purposes as well for conducting mine strategic meetings. So if you take advantage of this, for instance, and you study and you go to a mine after school, you don't join the unemployment graduate association, but you have this technology, you go to Mr. Mininig and you tell Mr. Mininig that I have this technology. I can train your people and reduce hot track incidents by 1%. And before you go there, you have demonstrated that that 1% reduction in hot track incident can save the mine $1 million. And you go and talk to Mr. Mininig, he will not look at you as a young graduate. He will look at you as a person who is coming to partner him and help him to develop his mine and to drive down costs. So when we are talking about your personal development and your professional development, we want to introduce you to some of these things so that you take advantage and equip yourself. We have data analytics, and you have already mentioned Internet of Things. It has been well explained to you. So data collection keeps on increasing, and there is the need for an effective way of analyzing data and coming up with solutions, as well as predictive analysis. The mining industry is changing the way it does things in terms of how entire organizations have embraced the opportunity presented by Internet of Things. Continue with data analytics. We have mobile access to operational and production data. This can be applied in reliability analysis for mining machinery and process plants. And this is the example Mr. Mininig shared with you. Routine 2 have made use of this, and someone sits somewhere in Accra and is mining in Takwa. If it's a good picture, you can see. So that is how data analytics is helping the industry. Mr. Mininig have mentioned already autonomous haulage systems. Then we have underground equipment automation. So you're thinking safety, you're thinking productivity, and you are thinking profitability. So don't get scared about underground mining because we have heard that maybe underground, the chances of losing your life is great. But get enthused and encouraged that you can get involved to reduce fatalities in underground when you entrench yourself and develop yourself in underground equipment automation. Now we are talking of collaboration. How do you position yourself to compete with a mining engineer who is trained in Australia? How do we position ourselves as a country in contract mining to compete with other contract mining firms which have been in existence over ages? So when we are talking of local development, it's just about you and I, professionally, personally, and also the businesses we are able to develop in Ghana to compete with the outside world. So I've just taken some few things on them at the mining area, what the local mining contractors are doing. So in recent years, we've seen quite a number of local contractors. We have Rockshore, who is actually mining on this mine. We have Maximus, who's mining for me. Rockshore is also mining for Mr. Mininig, I'm sure. We have Billy Wise, who is now coming up. We have EMP. These are indigenous Ghanaian local contractors, and they are competing favorably with their international competitors. So we have the skill, we have the knowledge, we have the confidence now
to develop ourselves.
And this is just to demonstrate to you that if at the contract management level we are able to compete, then at a mining engineer level, I shouldn't see myself as, because I'm trained in Ghana, the one trained in Canada is better than me. As a geologist, whatever profession, you need to have this competence and begin thinking global. Don't think that you have been trained for Ghana. Rather think that you have been trained for Ghana to benefit from you. So your training, your services you provide is not limited to Ghana. So Mr. Nede said that when he was an expatriate, he receives application for mining engineers, and almost always 90% of them were coming from Ghana. And that is how we want you to position yourself. So I want to use this to encourage you that when it comes to contract mining space, now Ghanaians are taking over. What it means is that whatever area in the industry we can and we have what it takes to take over. So now, collaborative approach. Some few questions I want to ask. If you look at my presentation, you will realize that I'm a student of Mr. Nede. He asked questions. He had a question, but because he trained me, I'm asking questions. So are we collaborating effectively to fully harness these new frontiers in our operations? Are we doing that, or are we still waiting for the Australians to come and teach us autonomous mining in Ghana? Are we making any effort and any inroads to collaborate? Are we fully making use of these new technologies to reduce costs and improve on safety in our mines? Is it happening in our mines? And are you prepared to take that challenge, if it is not happening, to bring it to the industry as young professionals? Are our educational systems align with the future of the mine? Will we be ready when automation in mining becomes the norm? So I believe in the next 5-10 years, some of you will be working with the EPA, will be working with the Minerals Commission, will be working with the Inspectorate Division of the Minerals Commission. So some of you will end up as regulators. But now, in the future, are they ready? How can we effectively involve our communities in which we operate? So in the near future, when we are moving to automation, what are we doing today to still hold on to our social licenses, to operate in these communities who are always knocking on our doors for jobs? Have we thought about it? And as young professionals, what are we doing about it? How are we preparing our local services to take advantage of all these technologies we have mentioned? Our engineers, especially mining, mechanical, electrical, geology, geomatic, geodetic, are we ready for some of these technologies? Now, what is the collaborative approach? This is the time for effective collaboration. So, I mentioned earlier on, you see, I'm not saying that go and fight and go out there and be demonstrating to people that I'm trained in Ghana as a mining engineer and I am as good as the person who is trained in Australia. That is not a challenge I'm throwing to you. What I'm saying is that develop your confidence and your competence. That when you meet that person who is trained in Australia, in Canada, in Germany, wherever, you can collaborate with that person and take advantage of these new frontiers we have mentioned and make an impact on the industry. So what are some of the collaborative approaches we can think of now? So automation in mining, data analytics, GIS, drones, new exploration technologies, and virtual reality in mining are gradually becoming part of our mining development process. And we should not stand aloof and watch. We need to get involved. We need to know what they are and the impact they can make in the industry. We need the industries, educational institutions, governments, the Chamber of Mines, and the communities to get involved in this discussion so that it does not come to us as a surprise. We shouldn't wake up one morning and our investors want to use automation and there is no Ghanaian who can participate in this. And in this era, after mining over 150 years in Ghana, we have to export technology and expatriates to come and run mines in Ghana. We require more local mining participation in these areas, and not forgetting bringing on board more women participation. So in quest of this collaboration, we don't have to leave our local communities out. Neither do we have to leave women out. We have to bring them on board. So the local communities where we are operating, we should not assume that they are uneducated. We should let them know that the future of the mine, this is the way we are going, so that we get them on board, so that tomorrow they can provide a service. If it's automation, if it's virtual reality, whatever technology the mine is employing in that community, they should be able to still partner us, so that we can guarantee our social licenses. And our educational institutions need to start thinking about training facilitators in the areas of mechatronics, data analytics, data science, and mining and robotics. I believe some of you are in student politics. And I'm happy Mr. Nede is a board member of UMAT. So we need to send this message to them. We need to get them entrenched in our educational institutions. We need to develop our educational facilities to meet the future of the mine. So some of the areas to keep us thinking and also for discussion. So for collaborative approach, in terms of social, we need to look at potential changes in employment, changes of industry culture and process, impacts in mining towns, broader economic implications. Young professionals, brothers and sisters, this is not far from you. This is the challenge which will confront you when you enter the industry, and you should know it now so that you start preparing for it. When it comes to group and organization, talking of new skills, so there is a need to train people, organizational acceptance, cultural issues, management processes, change. So don't see yourself as being far away from the managing director of Precious Mine or the general manager of Precious Mine. The reason is that you are here with him. So if you are attending a conference with the general manager of Precious Mine, what it means is that there is that potential in you to be one day to become the general manager of a mine. So that potential is in you at the group and organizational level. And as an individual, the change of tasks and roles, physical and mental workload, loss of situation awareness, skill degradation, and others. So we need to understand these things. You realize that by the time you come out of the university, all the things you have learned is only a basis for you to develop yourself in the industry. Because when you take them to the industry, most of them will not work. But you have been equipped and trained to know how to, at any material moment, develop your competence and your confidence to meet a challenge. Before you were enrolled into the program of geological engineering, you didn't know what it is, but now you know something about it. Why? Because at your SS level, you were taught how to learn. So you have been able to learn a new knowledge in geological engineering. So that is how the industry out there is. So when you leave the university, you go out there and you realize that you have to develop yourself, the individual. You have to. So these are the things you need to know and collaborate and work yourself out at the individual level so that you can fit and also make impact in the industry. So this is the time for effective collaboration. So in conclusion, previously the mining industry was seen as an industry which did not take advantage of upcoming technologies. This was purely due to the complexities and uniqueness associated with each mining operation. But now with Internet of Things, this challenge is no more. This is now changing. And multinational companies are now investing heavily in the path towards mine of the future. For the past decade, research in mining has received more funding. Europe is developing novel robotic systems to assess its flooded mines. Subsea mining has begun with trials in Papua New Guinea by Nautilus Minerals, Canada. Significant savings are being made with automation haulage systems, as well as providing a more safer mining environment. Data analytics is being used effectively to reduce mining costs and increase in production. We therefore require more collaborations between mining industries, the universities, and the polytechnics. More research funding and upscaling is required to take advantage of this new area. Colleagues and friends in the industry, I hope we don't become last in embracing the mine of the future. Thank you very much for this opportunity.
Thank you very much for the presentation. Yes, many have been saying. I think such an organization like WYPG, present the opportunity for us to push to the government consistently to implement some of these things, because we have the money, but we do not press. I think if you don't take care, that is going to come down with fade away. Just as we have a lot of these problems here, you can team up and then put to the government that if we do not implement some of these things, we engineers, we engineers will fade away, because sometimes some of the things that are being taught in school do not even present to them, because when we see what others are learning outside, we kind of lose interest. Thank you very much.
When I was setting the context, I said I was going to present the challenges to you so that you will position yourself to change. So you see yourself, those of us who are gathered here, in the near future, some of you will be in academia, some of you will be, when we are referring to the mining companies, it's as if they are far away from us. I'm a senior manager of AngloGold Ashanti. Am I not the mining company? Is Mr. Nilo not the mining company? Some of you very soon become the lecturers, the professors, you become the ministers of state and other things. So the solution sits with us. But I want to take my seat by leaving you with the 3 C's, which I have been almost repeating every session. I repeat one of them. And it is competence, confidence, and collaboration. Thank you very much.